When we say we are reliving 2025, the fact is we have lived through it. As Arnab mentioned in the opening, most of it bad and some good. Now, one aspect, because we have been focusing on foreign policy, is the overhang of the Israel-Gaza war that we have had on world events. So it began on October 7, 2023, been going on for more than 2 years now, and things have really come full circle via 3 other wars in Syria, Lebanon, and Iran, where the world actually wants it to stop in some way. Hostage release happened. Trump, of course, wants and gets credit for it, but let's look at some of the details.
Today, out of which one has already been released. Now, 7 in the first phase will be released is what we know. The other will be released in the second phase of the exchange of hostages. This is one of the hostages that has been released by Hamas, Israeli. Now, according to the local media reports, Hamas's military wing, the Al-Qassam brigades, issued a statement shortly after the 7 hostages were reportedly handed over to the Red Cross. The group said, and I quote, "It remains committed to the agreement as long as Israel adheres to its part of the deal." Meanwhile, they have also been quoted saying that the agreement was reached is the fruit of the people's steadfastness and resistance. The statement also said that the occupation could have returned most of its captivities alive many months ago, but it all continued to stall. The Israel Defense Forces, meanwhile, confirmed that the Red Cross has received all 7 hostages, and that's...
Well, in fact, the biggest talking point was how exactly will the Gaza war really pan out, and whether at all the United States of America will be successful in doing so. In fact, let's share this. Our senior executive editor did get a chance to have that meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and in fact, everyone wanted to really know how exactly is he going to traverse this, whether at all there is pressure coming in from the US, the internal pressure that he was actually facing, whether at all things are changing for him in Israel itself. Just give us a sense of what went through.
Quickly, Shawan. So this was in the month of August that we went and met him as part of this delegation. And when we were entering his office, there were protests happening outside against Netanyahu. Remember, Israel is a democracy, a very cacophonous democracy and multi-party democracy. So there were protests happening outside his office, right outside his office. People want this war to end. A big section of Israelis want this war to end. And I, in fact, asked this question to him when we met in just before this, after this handshake, because this is when he entered, and then he had a half an hour, 45-minute chat with us. I asked him that these are protests happening outside. People really want the war to end. What's your view? I mean, how are you sustaining? He said, yes. I mean, even I want the war to end. Who wants war in perpetuity? But the fact is that we want the hostages back. This was the time when hostages were still not back. So there was an escalation, in fact, built up. Hostages are now back. The war is tapering off. Maybe we're very close to a peace deal. It might happen. But in the conversation, I came out impressed, I must say, that despite that tremendous pressure, he could handle it, and he was in fact thinking of building up to the war so that the hostages could be... I mean, that's the picture of Israel you get, that they don't have any kind of weakness in their lexicon, in their social, political life. They believe strength is the only way you can handle any geopolitical, geostrategic, any situation, particularly in the kind of neighborhood that they live in.
A lot of people weren't happy with that picture, in fact, Abhishek, of you meeting Netanyahu. I just wanted to make a mention of that because people started debating why did Indian journalists get a private audience with Netanyahu? Why were they burning?
It was surprising because some of these people have taken junkets on Chinese, government plans. Some of these people have had no qualms in taking junkets with American scholarships, but and they have been very selective in their reporting. I mentioned when I met Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, I asked him that there is a protest happening against you. We have been on the ground and we see a very strong sentiment that the war should end. What's your view on it? So when we got the opportunity, we asked the question. The only way you could ask the question was meeting him, and then we got the opportunity, so we did it.
Yeah.